Jeff Snyder. It's Friday, March 15th. My YouTube page was taken down yesterday and I'm relaunching it now. All the wood you're looking at was burnt by solar plasma, a solar flare. And I'm just going to go about this in kind of a freehand way. That's the fiber optic cable. Sign that led me to the realization that these underground fiber optic cables are being used in conjunction with these directed energy weapons that use solar plasma. This is the truth. They don't want me getting out. However, there's something even larger here that I've discovered within the last half hour, 45 minutes. So I'm still kind of reeling, and I'm going to move right along and just show you that and then get back to all of this. And I'll show you that the burn lines in this, they follow the grain of the wood. You'll never see any kind of fire that matches these burn line patterns. I'll come back to all of this. For now, what I've discovered, they took down my YouTube page, and I would like to ask for people's help in demanding that 19 seconds of video back from YouTube, because it was given to me to relay to you, and they stole it from you. That did not belong to them. That did not belong to me. That belongs to all of us, because the message on there is detrimental to the future of humanity. I am not over-exaggerating or inflating that one bit. I'm sure you'll agree by the end of this presentation. So what you're looking at are screenshots and still frames. I'm going to explain to you how I came across that 19 seconds of video within the last week, that asking for anyone's email address that I can send these still frames and screenshots to in order to preserve them in case they take my YouTube page down, and my email this time. I've still got these paper copies and I'll still bring it back again. And in the last 30 minutes I found an addition, and that's kind of how the Lord works in mysterious ways. If they wouldn't have shut me down today, I wouldn't have been looking at this and I wouldn't have seen what I just saw. So let me back up and slowly walk you through this. 8 months ago in August, in Spanish Fork, Utah, I filmed 2 simultaneous fires starting at once with 2 colors of smoke. And then I went and I retrieved all that wood that we just showed you, cleaned it, lacquered it, and it shows all the evidence and signs of burning from the inside out. The solar plasma entered into the ground and came up through the root systems, burning everything from the inside out. This one that I just showed you, it came in through here, traveled up here, and you'll see it ripped out the side here a little bit, and I'll show you more pieces that are classic examples just like this. And then you'll see it came out the end, right out the middle. I'll cover a lot more of this wood. My point is, it was solar plasma that went into the ground and came up through the root systems and out the ends of the branches. And that's why each one of the ends of these branches is burnt on the inside, not the outside. We'll cover that in much greater detail later. My point is that it came up through and burned them from the inside out. And that's why when I speak from authority, it's not my opinion versus someone else's opinion. I got stuck with this. I'm trying to relay it to you. It's not mine to keep. It's not YouTube's to keep. Fire doesn't do this. There was 18 laser strikes on the bridge that goes across Spanish Fork, Utah, Spanish Fork River Park. Exactly that size. Like lasers or lightning strikes. I'll return to this in greater extensive detail either later in this episode or in my next video. But I also posted this last week, and it also got removed last week by James Grundvig, confirming all of the mechanisms of how this directed energy weapon works without calling it a directed energy weapon. We'll go over that for sure. Because as soon as I posted it, within a couple of days, it was taken down. Now, this is from 2017, and it was still up on medium.com last week. But when I went to look for it again and Googled it, this is what I got. So without further ado, how many craft can you count in this image? So what you're looking at is the rings of the aurora borealis when the magnetic field is cracked. Over the North and South Pole, these are the same lights that you see, the same color, the same jagged edge of the rings around the edge. Those are the northern lights. This 19-second video that I captured by a total fluke showed these rings going inward to the sun. Along with these lines, which are clearly the lines of the magnetic field being cracked. Those are flux lines. The color is the aurora borealis, the northern lights. Those are clearly magnetic flux lines. And in that 19-second video, while I was accidentally taking it out the window and then just decided, no, there's nothing to see, the camera also fired off a few still frames, but we'll go over that here in a minute. This is what I saw half hour ago. I've made a few videos of this over the last week. I didn't see that until a half hour ago. Now there's something else too. Watch this. You'll see this in the link below. There's another video that shows this craft clearly. The link below that says tr3b, which is right here. I'll show you some more, but you can also see this one in the video below. You can clearly see this because it's on a computer screen. In the images I would like to send to anybody's email who would allow me to, there is 3 or 4 still photos that were taken during the video at the same time, and a bunch of screenshots. I've outlined it here, but in the video link below, it doesn't need outlined. And it matches the exact Star Trek logo. Question is that why that's always been the Star Trek logo? And this is pretty much the way it's always been. And there's nothing new under the sun. So in that 19-second video, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go way out on a limb here, make some guesses at what it is we're looking at here. That is an interdimensional portal that cracks the magnetic field. This is an artificial sun that they've put in the way to blind the public so they can have this portal opening and closing and this magnetic field. In order to do that, they put an artificial sun closer to the earth in order to blind the public so you can't see what's going on behind it. And the only thing that you see happening is this around it. And behind that they could hide a fleet, an armada of ships. That is not a far off idea considering everything you're going to see, including the video link below that shows this craft, plain as day, the magnetic field opening, one, 2, 3. So is this one of our craft? Was that a dogfight we just watched? And they split, they went out the interdimensional portal and whoosh, and this is one of our craft? Because this is almost certainly a tr3b. The triangular look, I don't know, I'm talking way out of class, but what else it also is almost certainly the Star Trek logo. Look for yourself. My point is, that's why they took my video down. It's highly visible, highly visible, highly visible. Yet I made a few videos and never saw that. Never saw that. I'm going to do some close-ups here in a minute. So now this is the Death Star thingy. You can see it here in this one and here in this one. But what I'm going to draw your attention to here is that in both of these, including right here and right here, what appears to happen is this magnetic field where you can see the Aurora Borealis magnetic lines broke, and the colors, we're going to go over the colors, they're the exact colors of the northern lights that you see streaking across the sky in Alaska in that same jagged wave pattern. So that's what these are. This is solar radiation coming through because it got through the magnetic field. Just like in the North and South Pole, there's a hole in the magnetic field, and that's why you see those lights. In this case, this is also why I'd like to send some people these in digital format. One of these rings right here is the inner ring and the outer ring, just like these. So there's one of these, there's clearly two, one here and one here, but there's also one, it's probably one of the same ones, it's right here, and I'm not even sure if you can see it. By the end we'll have gotten you a shot of it or whatever, maybe you can see it now. My point is, the break in the magnetic field seems to end right there, like maybe this is where they're entering and exiting, whatever they're doing, coming and going. All of these rainbow colored jagged lines seem to end right there. And there also happens to be one of those ships right there. So the solar plasma, the sun simulator, the directed energy weapons, and the 4 craft caught in that 19-second film all have something to do with each other, and I think we should demand from YouTube that belongs to humanity, not to YouTube. They are not the curator of history for humanity. That did not belong to them. That does not belong to me. That belongs to everybody. So the way it happened was completely by accident. I was going to take a sky video right there. It was 20 seconds. I hung it out the window, took the video, decided not to, but while I was taking the video, the volume on the side of the phone was leaning on the bottom of the door of the car as I'm hanging it out the window, taking some video of the sky, and it took these still frames. As I was going to erase the 20-second video, so I would have more memory for the next video I wanted to take, I noticed these still frames, particularly that one, and went, what is that? Opened up the video. It's only a 20-second video, but you see this ring going towards the sun, in towards the sun for about 5 or 6 seconds of that 19-second video. It wasn't just a flash, it was like 5 or 6 seconds. I didn't see any of it with my naked eye when I was watching, so I saw that and I thought, wow, that's too weird. I'll post it instead of erasing it. And so I did. But I still did not see the orbs until later. There's two here, there's one here, and the one above. In this shot, the lower one's a bit easier to see, and the upper one. And just once again, in the video link below labeled tr3b, you'll be able to see this craft, perfect circle with a perfect triangle in the middle. And you'll notice here in this one, it is during the occurrence where we still have some of the color around the sun. That's not as intense as those rings, but there's still definitely some disturbance, electromagnetic disturbance around the sun, while this craft is here. And the cool part is that the car is in the frame for a couple of the frames, and you can see the car. I'll just go over those now for you, so you know right where to look. I think we've already been over these. I can see these good enough on the paper that I can outline them like that, but you'll just need to click on the link below, and you'll be able to see it too. When I first uploaded it, they kind of put it in a grainy format. I'm not sure if they're shorting me some pixels, but it's visible enough that there's no question. Your mind may start saying, well, that can't be, that's not, because... And it's not because it's not visible. It's because it's not comprehensible. And the other thing is, now that I know, that I've just seen within the last couple minutes, in the tr3b video, you'll be able to clearly see this as well. I think the reason I got kicked off YouTube with my first account was revealing people who were very well aware of the use of these directed energy weapons and were causing subterfuge, trying to maintain doubt in the mind of the public and offer the benefit of that doubt to the producers of these directed energy weapons. Because as you can see, the front of this tractor is untouched and the back is melted. The guy whose YouTube site this is on, up until 2 months ago, he knew everything under the sun there was to know about directed energy weapons, and suddenly he doesn't hear no weapons, see no weapons, speak no weapons. And he can look at this and pretend he thinks that was forest fire. One of the standard signatures of these electromagnetic frequency fires that happen from the lightning/laser-like intensity heat is that the tires become vaporized and there's nothing left but the cords. And these, I'll go over these a little later, a little closer. You can see some of the burn signatures, but that's far less interesting than some of this, where the burn follows the grain in impossible ways that would be completely impossible for fire to produce. Such as that. Notice the heat or the burning centralizes around the knots. That's because it's going inside the wood and the knots are the densest place. So I'll do more videos later and go over this wood more closely, because I realize now I have really 0 videos on file, but suffice it now to say it burns from the inside, follows the grain along the inside, centralizes on the knots, and produces some impossible burn patterns. But again, all of them, always, burnt on the inside. Just like when a tree gets struck by lightning, it doesn't burn along the inside other than at the exit and the entry point. If I scratch this off, the burning is only surface deep right there. this one has been lacquered. So what happens here is it comes in this end, and you'll notice it's brown on this side and much less brown on this side, just like the handle is unburnt on this side relatively, and much more burnt on this side. So is the whole stick, because the energy tended to travel more so along this side. Maybe I've kind of lost it in the shadows. Yeah, there we go. This side's got a golden brown all the way down. This side has a white, unburnt look to it. And that matches what's on the handle. The unburnt side, the burnt side, and you can see where it travels down the stick right there. Later on I'll go over these more closely, but it travels up these sticks and burns the very tips of each one of these is burned black. And it also, this is an unlacquered piece where you can see the impossible burn lines running along the grain of the wood. Before I forget, Jamie Lee of A Plain Truth has archived in his video titled "Don't Underestimate the Power of the Dark Fiber" the place where I found this, and I would appreciate it if we could get this video to him as well. He is now re-uploading all of his information onto A Plain Truth 2, and he has managed to store his information on an off-site location. And I think the information I'm offering here with that 19-second video would be wisely directed to him in order to be able to maintain it for future use if they take it down, and possibly even get it back from YouTube. I will now give a straight read through of James Grundtvig's article, followed in my next video with commentary and analysis of what I believe he really says.